Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series for the March 9th, 1985. We are fast running through 1985, and we've got almost 1,000 audios of both old school and current day wrestling. Obviously, the current day stuff is junk compared to the old school stuff. If you are a person that likes the current day stuff, well, you're probably going to not be 100% in love with this channel, but if you want the mindset of someone that was in the business at the independent level and who explains why things work and why they don't, this is probably the channel for you. Would love if you subscribed. Also, subscribe to my main channel, Golden Opportunities Coaching. If you are looking for business, life, or entertainment coaching, great place to go there. 2021 going to be a big year for everybody, at least I hope. Anyway, uh, we wander into the 9th of March 1985, and ultimately, Jake Roberts and Terry Taylor for the television title opens our program. It's just really amazing to me the number of people in this era who are major stars for the future of the business. Obviously, Jake Roberts in '85, before he goes to the World Wrestling Federation. Roberts and Taylor's been building for a while. Roberts has wanted the match. Taylor has had other opponents. They work around with the arm. Roberts with the neck snap. Taylor kicks him off. Roberts just slowing the match down, takes him right into the buckle, and doesn't waste a single bit of motion. Ultimately, Roberts gets backed off. Hard punch by Taylor. Taylor sends Roberts to the outside. Roberts regrouping. Roberts is such a master of both psychology and just keeping things going in a positive direction for himself. We see a tie up there, and then we kind of see the hair pull. Um, Also working on the arm. We see Taylor work on the arm for several minutes of Roberts. Doesn't really go all that well. Match is pretty slow, but psychology wise, makes a heck of a lot of sense. Taylor has always been one to work a body part and make it work for him. Drops the knee on the arm, kind of runs him around. Roberts gets back to his vertical base, eventually sending Taylor into the buckle, and the match obviously slows down when Jake is in control. Meanwhile, body slam and a running knee drop right across the bridge of the nose of Roberts, and he comes out the back door because Taylor fails to hook the leg. Kick to the midsection. Doesn't get all he wants. Roberts on the meanwhile manages to come out of the corner pretty aggressively, hits a running clothesline, and then collapses. That's the thing that I love. You know, guys today just pop right back up like nothing matters, and something as simple as taking 5 minutes of punishment, Jake Roberts falls. He doesn't sell for 10 solid minutes, but he makes a sale. 1, 2, 3, and Terry Taylor is victorious over Jake Roberts in this television championship match. We then move on to Buddy Landel and Brad Armstrong. Armstrong, a former North American champion. Landel still trying to find his way in the company. I don't know that he ever really does in Mid-South. In some ways, I guess he does, but at the same time, Landel, which is where he picks up, I think he kind of gets better off later in the year, later in '85 for Crockett, and then I love his Smoky Mountain stuff. Really excited to cover that with everybody eventually. Anyway, then we kind of see them go round on the arm. Landel brings things up. Ride time by Armstrong. Armstrong tries to get as much ride time as he possibly can out of things. And then we see kind of a slowdown. Back to the headlock by Landel. Landel, a fantastic heel. If you need to know the mannerisms of how to beg off Buddy Landel, obviously not Ric Flair in that regard, but a very close second in the same body type, but also in the same general vein as Flair. Takedown by Armstrong. Armstrong hooking up on the arm and manages the hammerlock. Works the hold for a bit. Meanwhile, Finally, we see Landell try to come back to his feet a little bit here. Doesn't get all he wants on that. Landell is, without a doubt, a guy who you don't want to waste a lot of energy with. You don't want to get tied up with too aggressively, assertively there, and it's, cuts him off. Uh, um, then we kind of see the match break down into overall a little bit again. Every time there's that forward motion from Armstrong, Landell begs off. Armstrong sends Landell into the ropes, hits a power slam, 1, 2, 3. Landell is victorious. Jackson and Daniels are the adversaries for the Dirty White Boys in their next enhancement match. Eventually, the Dirty White Boys do go on to, I guess you'd say, greener pastures and better matches. But Private Terry Daniels and Mike Jackson are their adversaries this week. And we're getting them ready, heating them up for the Rock and Roll Express, at least to a degree. At least I think that's where they're kind of going. Anyway, White Boys are on the receiving end of, hammerlocks, basic stuff. Jackson shows some basic knowledge, but the White Boys cut the ring off on Jackson for a little bit. Jackson gets sent into the ropes, into a troubled situation. White Boys continuing to hold on to their lead in the match, so to speak, and cutting the ring off. Good tag team work there, double team, double boots by the Dirty White Boys, and again, that Samoan drop, 1, 2, 3, White Boys get another enhancement talent victory. Speaking of enhancement talent victories, next up, Iceman King Parsons, Frank Levert. Levert is an enhancement talent who really doesn't do much in the sport, I don't think. But you need those upon occasion. Iceman King Parsons has had moderate success in the Mid-South area. Nothing to write home about, but at the same time, he's been here for a couple of months. Has managed to get himself over as a babyface. Levert manages to catch Parsons with some shots. Levert not in the best of shape. Looks blown up even in this short little match. The leaping clothesline after the backdrop, and Iceman King Parsons in control. Next, kind of a bigger match here. Hercules Hernandez and Hercules Hernandez and Gino Hernandez. I actually just realized that. No relation. Against an interesting team, Duggan and Von Erich. So they're certainly trying to put Kerry over to the best of their ability, putting him in there with Jim Duggan. Of course, Kerry, a mainstay in world class since about 1970, 78, 79, something like that. But branching him out just a few months after his, or a little less than a year, after his world championship win, his former NWA champion of a very short reign. But anyway, that's that. And tie up by Von Erich with Hercules and kind of get some tackles there. Leapfrog and a hard shot misses by Hercules. Hercules manages to get the get to be on the receiving end of atomic drops. Meanwhile, Gino Hernandez in the ring and hits a tackle and ultimately a drop kick under the chin. Hernandez obviously has been a major force in world class, so it makes sense for Von Erich to continue their feud in another territory. Duggan comes in, nails Hercules right under the chin. Love the fact that this dream tag match is kind of one of those things that is continued because of the history between these two guys. Spinning slam and a attempted pin by Duggan after a knee drop. Duggan with a leapfrog gets caught by Hernandez, gets caught up, and Duggan gets distracted. Meanwhile, the heels take over on Duggan for a little bit. Hernandez and the Hernandez guys, both Gino and Hercules, manage to take over for a little bit. Kerry comes back in, misses the shoulder tackle in the corner, doesn't go where he wants it to go. Actually, that's Gino Hernandez that gets the tackle in there, and that doesn't go well. Hercules comes back in with Duggan. Duggan with a sunset flip, which is a rare maneuver for him to utilize. Kick under the chin, and we see Duggan with a hot tag to Kerry Von Erich. Von Erich comes back in, and a series of punches goes right at Hercules Hernandez and hits the spinning discus punch. Hercules actually kicks out of Kerry Von Erich's finish, which is rare at the time that finishes aren't as protected. Anyway, Kerry under the chin. We see the tackle by Duggan. Duggan manages to do everything he can do to light up Gino Hernandez. Meanwhile, I believe Hercules and Kerry Von Erich still your number one guys, and the baby faces are sent to the outside. Duggan sent into the barricade by DiBiase, who obviously is still aligned with Hercules under the tutelage of Akbar. Meanwhile, the referee gets knocked out a little bit. Duggan manages to load up kind of a loaded fist, and then we see Kerry Von Erich get a visual pinfall victory over his adversary there. David Eddy against Kamala is up next, and with 10 minutes left and about 4 segments, this is obviously going to be a short squash match. Obviously not a big deal. Kamala has basically fought a lot of people, just about everybody in the area that counts for a heck of a lot. Kamala choking out his adversary, goes for the big splash, gets the big splash. 1, 2, 3. Kamala is your victor. Then we go to the final match, I think, of the day. Because we got 2 music videos after this. The Barbarian against Tom Pritchard, and Pritchard doesn't stay in there too long. Skandor Akbar managing the Barbarian. Barbarian uses power. Shoulder tackles by Pritchard. Pritchard can't stay upright very long. Barbarian manages a big body slam, launches Pritchard into the middle of the ring. Barbarian then kind of uses almost a release body slam, would be the best way to describe it, to get a victory here. Wins after a body slam. I mean, imagine that in 1985. Anyway, that will close us for this episode. We'll be back with more right after this.